Okay. So about that on the comic. So this is I only read the first five, so I don't know how far they took it. Maybe in book two, there's a clear deviation for how much the TV show is in alignment with the comic. By book five, it seems to go a complete different direction. In the TV show, she fights off with the God of War. Which I think is really interesting. I don't remember seeing him he wasn't in the first five, but it's very clear like that story arc is completely different. What it did remind me of though, and I wonder if this, because it was put on Netflix, they needed to put a proven storyline in. It did remind me of Wonder Woman, her having to fight the God of War, Ares, and it had that very similar like plot play out of him trying to prove to her that she had the potential to join him and become like part of his like evil world, and she decided because she was very good natured she's not going to do it, and she defeats him, but it just feels like that was almost like a carbon copy of that storyline, which I'm not sure why they did that. So I wanted to read the comics. This is what drove me to. I was like, because I want to know which came first. Did Wonder Woman copy this comic line, or did this comic line adapt that proven plot line from DC, I guess, into Netflix just to make it more secure?
That's an excellent question. Netflix, I would say.
What did you say?
I said Netflix, let us know.
Yeah, that's interesting. I don't. So I've read a lot of Wonder Woman comics, and Ares is a character within the comics. I have not read that particular storyline in the comics. So if there is some crossover, it stands to reason that Wonder Woman fighting the God of War may have been poached a little bit from Trese. But if there is some, a correlation.
Yeah. The way that they structure the comics, it's literally case by case. It's like she's a detective and every single case is a completely different story. So, but I don't know, like if in book two, they wrap up all these stories to a larger theme, but, so as a result, it's like I haven't gotten to one where there was this, God or whatever, but there was one that was a spirit that to possess the woman, or no, the spirit that was killing like 6 different other people. Okay, so the comics is obviously going to be darker. So it's it's a couple in the 5th issue, specifically the 5th case. It's a couple who the husband he cheats on his wife with this woman who kind of has a demon possessed person, but you don't know that she's demon possessed, and he decides that he loves his wife, and so he's going to leave the woman. And so the last time they have sex, she gives him the fire of her belly, which is basically like the demon that's possessing her kind of gives her this thing that she gives to him. And so when he goes back to have sex with his wife, it burns her up. And then and so he goes back to this mistress like, what the heck, and she was like, okay, I'll give you your wife back, but you have to get me 6 souls. And so he has to keep having sex with these other women, and he's having sex with 6 of them or whatever. He's on the 6th one, I think, in order to get back his wife. And that's when the main character, what's her name, Trese, okay, comes in, and she's able to she kills the girl. The girl turns into like this huge monster, the mistress that gave him this thing, but after they return the wife, and then so he goes back to his wife. I don't know, it was some weird thing, but then he was
that's like very yeah that reminds me of the character, which isn't of Asian descent. I don't remember, but from Lovecraft Country. Did anybody watch Lovecraft?
Nine-tailed Fox.
Yes, thank you.
That's the Korean folklore, which I appreciated Lovecraft for bringing that in, because it's something. Yeah, I'm half Korean. I didn't know that. I mean, we weren't, not like my mom is going to tell me this crazy story.
Exactly. Of the nine-tailed fox. That's kind of what that sounds like a lot.
It's very similar. Yeah. I mean, I think a lot of Asian history, there's a lot of crossover and stuff like that for sure.
What is that? What is the Korean tale there? I missed that one in the.
Oh, the nine-tailed fox was. She had to. It's very similar.
She had
to take souls in order to. In
order to get her soul back, because she was the nine-tailed fox, saved the daughter of of a woman, and a woman, you know, prayed to the nine-tailed fox, and the nine-tailed fox took over the body of this woman, but she had to have sex with men and take their souls. I think she needed to have 100 souls.
That was a lot.
Before they would return the soul of her daughter to the body.
Yeah.
Right. And I think she took 99.
Because she fell in love, and like she had her own.
Yeah. I remember that storyline now. Okay, and she fell in love with the 100th guy. And then, I remember.
Glad they added that into the show, but
yeah.
Yeah, I think that was added in for sure. But like, yeah, it's interesting because it does, like, you're right, Courtney. It is very similar